Hey everyone. This is a quick little commentary I'm going to do regarding being a nuisance. I recorded this video earlier today, hopefully it'll be going up today, and it ended up being a game where I didn't do much damage because I spent most of my time just pestering two people. It started off looking like a pretty good damage game. You see there I pulled out some pretty amazing bursts, got some lucky crits, and then we capped the node immediately, and I'm going to eventually move down and defend our natural. Shortly after that, I'll move over to their node, and from there I'll go into some specifics how to be a nuisance on a Sage. A lot of people ask these days, how is it that you manage to solo people? And the truth is, it's not that I even solo people. Most of what I do is running away. Now, most marauders, most any melee can call it what they will. They can call it a wussy tactic, but I really don't care. It's about living, not dying, and a dead sage isn't going to do any damage. So, as you can probably get a feel for it here, I constantly making myself hard to get to. He stunned me and immediately walked away. Then this guy came over here. I don't think he was looking for me, but he may have. It's just constantly putting yourself at a disadvantage for them. If they have to go and chase you around, they're not doing any damage, while you can still throw out a project or an affliction, you know, something to get a little bit of damage out. Well, they are just chasing you down. I'm going to start heading over to their node right now. Now, I wouldn't recommend this in a ranked match. We don't often try to do it, but as far as regs go and you want to try to help the team out a little bit more, and it's also costly, or risky rather. Let me mention that now. It could fail, or it could be completely helpful towards your team. I was hoping that nobody else was going to come, and I was just going to burn this sage down, but that changed quickly. So then I turned on kite mode, essentially. The slinger's about to show up here in a second. There's my good friend the slinger who puts on a permanent slow. So this is where it all starts right here, is about making myself as difficult to get to while off-healing myself to keep myself going. He has to go all the way around, the slow is constantly on him. I tried to DPS him down before the healer got to him, but eventually he's going to walk away from me as well, and I'm not going to go and chase him. Now this isn't a great example of it, but doing this sort of thing could bring a lot of attention from the enemies and lighten it up at the node your team's trying to get. But in this case, it was just these two, and that's all they were doing. Towards the end, I think someone else comes. I know I had a teammate come and help me, but he did almost nothing for me. So the fight's dragging on, and I'm just being as annoying as possible, not letting him cast as much. And that dodge of his throw was not intentional. I just forced speed and he missed. Right here, I'm going to try and burst the healer down, but I know that's not going to happen. One of them's probably going to interrupt me eventually or stun me, because between two of them, they have at least 3 to 4 stuns. That was a premature force barrier. The idea was to get him casting something so he'd waste it. But once I saw that my force lift was off cooldown and my alacrity so he didn't interrupt me, I threw it up and then immediately afflictioned him by accident because tab target never seems to work when I need it. It gets real close here and I get stuck on those stupid sandbags, but I managed to pull it out. I see my stun comes back up and immediately stun him and run off the edge. Again, this is just to be annoying. I don't actually plan on killing either of these people at this point. It's just to make them scramble and run around after me. If there were a marauder in this fight, it would probably be a different story. It would also be a drastically different story if I wasn't trying to kite as telekinetics. If this was madness or balance, it would be a different story, and I may have actually gotten one of them down eventually. Because that class requires no casting of telekinetic throw to actually kill someone. I do it often in ranked when we're playing Civil War. We've been trying a new tactic where I go madness and simply pester the off node to pull 1 or 2 people off of the main node while we try to cap it. Doesn't work often because most people know my number now and they just immediately send someone to me. And then they tried to play my game. Now they're both trying to stay inside and keep me from attacking them, but I make some decent use of Force Quake and telekinetic throw to try to force them out, or at least into my line of sight, which it gets the healer out for a second, but he's just going to keep moving back in, and it keeps screwing my my cast of telekinetic, or disturbance. We were really close to killing him right there, but CCs, how do they work? I spent a good majority of the game over here hassling these two people. Eventually they're going to kill me. I think a third enemy comes in, or either that or one of them gets a hold of me and I can't move, and I'm pretty much out of cooldowns at this point. Did manage to get out of combat and get another health kit. That's another thing to try to do while you're it's kind of tricky to, there he is right there. It's kind of tricky to get it going, but if you can, if there's a moment in a lull in the combat and you can just stay out of combat for a second, and once you're out, immediately jump right back in, so that starts the cooldown on your health kit and keeps them from regenerating. Now I'm just going to start DPSing people. Actually, here's a pretty decent fight against a Sentinel that everybody seems to want me to go over. Wasn't that great of a fight, though. Eventually that Sidewinder healer comes back in and helps him, so I just don't even bother with it. And that's another thing. Just, if the fight gets to be too much, just run away from him. It's not worth you dying. You're more valuable alive. There's the signature Psibre knockback. A lot of sages do it, but I still cling to the fact that I came up with it first. Hate on it if you will. But it's when you force speed, jump, turn around, push back, and keep on going so you don't lose any of your force speed time. Here's some payback for the healer keeping the gunslinger up. He did not know what hit him. And there it is again. People try to pull you in, just get out of there immediately. If you have your stun up, and most people aren't quick enough to catch this either, if a power tech or a shadow pulls you in, immediately stun them and run away, so they don't follow up with a stun or a slow or anything like that. And there's usually enough, if you're quick enough anyway, usually there's enough airtime for you to tab to him or target him and hit your stun. And that's the end of the game. I hope you guys got something out of this, and how to be a nuisance as a sage. I'll try to get a game similar to this where I'm Madness, where I'm not simply running around Affliction spamming and trying to get off a Turbulence. Enjoy.